Hello everyone, this is Preet Kamal. I'm a lecturer at Meherchand Polytechnic College, Jalandhar. Today I'm here to discuss with you a new topic of the subject electronic devices and circuits that we were continuing in the last lecture. But before that, I would like to share an important information with you all that we already know and we already share in each and every of our videos, that is about the campaign Mission Fateh. As you all know that Fateh means win, so we have to win against this COVID-19 situation. So that is why we have to follow some precautions, that is that wash your hands properly, then use sanitizer and use mask as you move out of your house, and along with that, the most important thing, please maintain social distancing. So these are some parts of the campaign Mission Fateh, and we have to follow it so that the Mission Fateh will definitely become Fateh, that is the win. So let's now move forward towards our topic of today, that is the gain, about the gain of the multi-stage amplifier. In the last lecture, we discussed about the multi-stage amplifier and we discussed about how the multi-stage amplifier works and why we need it. What is the need of the multi-stage amplifier? Now, today we will discuss about the gain of the multi-stage amplifier, that how to calculate the gain. First of all, I would like to tell you here that gain means output divided by input, which means that whatever you have given as an input signal and what you are getting as an output, the comparison between the two, that is how much the output has been raised in case of an amplifier. As we all know that amplifier means it amplifies, it shifts the signal a level up. So in a multi-stage amplifier, we use a combination of the amplifiers, multiple stages of amplifiers we use in that. So that is why, what is the effect of gain over there? What is the difference between the output and the input, or we would say the ratio of the output to the input is basically called as the gain. So in case of multi-stage amplifier, let's see what is the gain. Look at this situation, gain of the multi-stage amplifier. In this, say the gain we represent it by G. For example, we represent the gain by G. So if we make it as a block diagram, we will draw it like G1, G2, so on up to Gn are the gains of different stages of a multi-stage amplifier. Vin is the input, for example, G1 is the gain of the first stage, G2 is the gain of the second stage of the amplifier, the multi-stage amplifier, and we are having n number of stages in which the last stage has a gain of Gn. And see here the outputs and the inputs I have shown here. Vin is, say, the input of the first stage, G1 is the gain, and V1 is the output of the first stage of the amplifier. Now this output of the first stage has become the input of the second stage and the output is V2. Similarly, so on, the input of the second stage is because of the output of the first stage, right? So see here, look here, this is G1. G1 means V1 divided by Vn. Then G2 is V2 by V1 and so on up to Gn. If we have to calculate, then it will be Vn divided by Vn minus 1. Means whatever will be the next stage divided by the previous stage will be the gain of, will become the gain of the that particular stage. And when we talk about the total, the overall gain of the complete amplifier stage, then it will become G is equals to G1 into G2 into so on up to Gn. That means the product of the gains of the individual stages. That will become the overall gain. But if we have only one or two stages, or the gain of the stage is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then it will be easy for us to calculate the gain. But if we are having numerous of stages, number of stages are more, or the gain of the stages is very much high in around hundreds or thousands or something like that, then it will become very difficult for us to calculate the product of the gains of the different stages. So that is why we convert this particular gain into a small unit, that is basically bells. But bells, what do you mean by bell is log base 10 of P2 by P1. Here P2 is the power of the output and P1 is the power at the input side. Power at the output and power at the input side of this particular amplifier, right? But bell is a larger unit, so we have to convert it into a smaller unit. And if we will convert it into a smaller unit, we will convert bells into decibels. And if we will convert the bells into decibels, it will become the decibel, the value dB, if we write this dB, that is equals to the 1/10 of the bells. Decibel value is 1/10 of the value of the bells. So if we have to convert bells into decibels, then what will happen is this log base 10 of P2 by P1 will become 10 into log base 10 of P2 by P1. That is the power at the output divided by the power at the input side. So as decibels, in decibels we will have this kind of a situation and this kind of the equation with us. Then P2 is the power at the output side. It will definitely be the ratio of V square over R. As we all know that power is equals to V square by R. So if we are calculating the P2, that means the power at the output side, then definitely the voltage will also be from the output side and resistance will also be from the output side. So the power at the output will be the ratio of V2 square divided by R0, and P1 will be equal to the ratio of V1 divided by Rin, that is the resistance as the input side. So if we say that R0 and Rin are equal to R, that means the resistance at the output side and the resistance at the input side, they are both equal to one resistance only, then this equation will become P2 will become equal to V2 square by R and P1 will become equal to V1 square by R. Here if we need to calculate the gain in dBs, then I have written here 10 log base 10 of V2 square by R divided by V1 square by R. That means instead of P2 here I have written the V2 square by R, and instead of P1 I have written here V1 square by R. R gets cancelled with R and so it will become equal to V2 square over V1 square. So we can write it combinedly. The gain in dBs, that is equals to 10 log base 10 of V2 by V1 whole square. We can write it like this also. So let me come to that side and so I will explain you this. I hope this is visible to you all. So the gain in dBs is equals to 10 log base 10 of V2 over V1 whole square, right? So when we calculate the log terms, then you all know that this square comes to this side and gets multiplied with the numeric that is over here ahead of the log. So this will become 20 log base 10 of V2 by V1. So this is the gain in dBs that we have calculated, 20 log base 10 of V2 by V1. If we have to calculate it in terms of power, then it will be P2 by P1, and if we need to calculate it in terms of voltage, then it will be V2 by V1. So the total gain, the gain in dBs, the overall gain is equal to G1 plus G2 plus so on up to Gn, that is in dBs. So here we can see the difference between the two. When we were calculating the gain in a normal manner, then it was the product of all the gains of the different stages that are being connected in the multi-stage amplifier. But when now we have calculated the gain in dBs, then it has converted the multiplication into addition, and it has become, the overall gain has become G1 plus G2 plus so on up to Gn. Now I hope you all are clear that why dBs, why we need to convert our normal gain into decibels. There is a reason behind that. The reason is that it converts, when we calculate the gain in dBs, in decibels, then it converts our multiplication that can lead to a very higher value, and it will be difficult for us to multiply in at such a particular level. Sometimes in some of the cases, then in decibels it has become easier, and it has become easier because of it converts multiplication into addition. And along with that, when we take the logarithmic scale, when we talk about the logarithmic scale, then it changes the high as well as the very low kind of values to normal range of the line of the numerical values, right? So there are main two reasons why we use decibel scale to calculate our gain. So I hope you all are clear with this gain of the multi-stage amplifier. If you will be having any kind of doubts, then it will be got cleared in our live sessions. Thank you so much, students.